Hi guys, Kathy here, welcome back to my channel. I just made this creamy spinach and salmon linguine. It's got a nice bit of lemon in it and loads of nice different seasonings to make it taste good. So if you want to know how to make this quick, simple pasta dish, please keep watching this video. Right, so we're going to start off with making our pasta. So I've just got a boiling pan of water and I'm adding some salt in there, and then I'm just going to add some linguini. So you can use whichever pasta you like. It could be spaghetti, it could be penne, whichever pasta you have to hand. Just add that into your pan. So I'm adding 2 handfuls of pasta here. This is going to make enough for 2 people and also some leftovers for lunch the next day. So I'm just going to boil that according to the instructions on the packet. I'm moving it to my actual hob so that I can show you how I start to prepare the sauce. So I've got a pan, I've got a tablespoon of olive oil, and I'm just going to season the salmon fillets directly in the container that it came in. So I'm just going in with some garlic salt, some black pepper, and some dried tarragon, but you could also use fresh tarragon if you have that instead. And I'm just going to add that directly into the pan. And it's got to be quite a hot pan because we basically want to get a nice sear on the salmon, so make sure that your pan is nice and hot. And then I'm also going to season the other side with some more garlic powder, some black pepper, and again some dried tarragon. So those are the main 3 seasonings that we use throughout this video. So I'm sure everybody has salt and pepper, so all you need is the dried tarragon basically. So we're basically going to sear the salmon on each sort of side. So we're not cooking it through at all, we're just basically getting a nice crisp outside on each side. So literally I would say 30 seconds to a minute on each side you want to sear the salmon so that it's nice and dark and flavoursome. But you definitely don't want to cook it all the way through because it's going to cook for longer when you add it to the pasta at the end, and that means that it won't be overcooked. It will be nice and silky and flaky. So now I've seared my salmon and I'm just going to remove it from the pan. And I'm going to drain a bit of that oil off because I didn't think I needed that much, so I drained a little bit out. And then I'm just adding some cream. So this is single cream, you could use double cream, whichever that you have in the house. And it's not much, I'm going to put the exact quantity in the description bar below, but we're just adding that into the pan and you're just going to mix it in. The pan should be on a low heat at this point because you basically don't want your cream to curdle or get overcooked. So we're just going to put that on a low heat. And whilst your pasta is boiling, you want to reserve a little bit of that pasta water because you're going to need that at the end to bring the sauce together. So just a little bit of pasta water I've put in that mug. And I'm just swishing the cream around in the saucepan. So at this point I just tasted it just to see what it tasted like. And I thought that it tasted good, but it also needed a little bit more seasoning. So I just went in with some more garlic powder. And at this point it should still be on a low heat, just simmering away for about maybe 5 minutes max. So I added my garlic salt and some more pepper and some more dried tarragon, and you just want to let that cook on a low heat for a few minutes. So I'm just stirring that all in. At that point I added a whole bag of spinach, so this was I think baby spinach, and I'm just adding this in and I'm going to toss it in. I think it adds a nice sort of healthy element to the dish, and I really love spinach, so I tend to add it to a lot of my pasta dishes. So I'm just going to cook that down, let it wilt down a little bit. We all know that when we add spinach it looks a lot to begin with, but it always cooks down, so I think a whole bag is absolutely fine. Tossing it in the sauce, making sure that it's wilting down. It's all starting to come together now. I then added my pasta, which was cooked. I cooked it al dente because obviously it's going to cook a little bit longer in the sauce. So I'm just kind of loosening it up a bit, and then I add it straight into the spinach cream mix. Just making sure that I get all of the linguine. Definitely don't want any wastage. And I'm just stirring that into the sauce. Just making sure that basically all of the strands of the linguine are coated in that nice sort of creamy sauce. And at this point, I also add back in the salmon fillets. And I'm just using my tongs just to break it up a little. You don't want to break it up too much because I quite like having nice big chunks of salmon. So I'm just kind of breaking it up into big chunks. As you can see, it's not fully cooked yet because when you start tossing it into the sauce, it's then going to cook it all the way through. And it's going to mean that the salmon isn't overcooked. So I'm just breaking it down and stirring it into the sauce as I go along, making sure that it's all incorporated. And then also just any sort of drippings that were left on the plate. And then at this point, I'm adding in a splash of that pasta water that we reserved, and I'm just going to stir that into the linguine, and that's basically going to make the sauce come together, and it's going to make it really luscious and silky. At this stage, I killed the heat and I gave it a little taste. I just wanted to see what everything tasted like, and I thought it tasted really good. I just added half a lemon, so I'm just squeezing the lemon directly into the pan. I just think this really brings another dimension and gives it a nice sort of freshness. So I'm just squeezing that in. Obviously make sure that you catch the pips. I didn't do that, so I just removed them afterwards. But yeah, squeeze the lemon in. I added a little bit more black pepper, and I'm just going to toss that into the sauce. And then you're basically done, guys. This is such a quick sort of meal and it's really tasty. You can definitely cook it within half an hour, I would say. It's so fast. You just basically get your pasta on, fry up the salmon, get the sauce going and just toss it all together at the end, and it is really quick and tasty, and I think you'll love it. So at this point, I'm just going to serve some up in a bowl. You could add parmesan to it, but I don't think it really needs it because it's so creamy, but if you wanted to, you could do so. And just making sure that I get some nice chunks of fish. I just like how the salmon is just nice and plump and it's not dry and overcooked, it's just right. And that's basically it, guys. Hi guys, I just made this creamy spinach salmon pasta. Just gonna give it a quick try.